So in many senses, it is a black film. But what I love about black films, opposed to like white films or just films, I guess. Fucking A.
Oh, you digging a great. Go ahead, brother. You've been digging all day.
You know what I'm saying, though, right?
No, I don't.
Who are these guys? My theme music. Every good hero should have some.
One, 3, 5. What the fuck is up, internets?
My name is Durden Godfrey.
And I am Mr. Royal.
That's right. That is Mr. Royal. And Mr. Royal today, just a few minutes ago, made me watch a film called
I'm Gonna Get
You
Sucka, and preface on G-I-T. Giddy. Let's talk about these gold chains. But before we do that here, if you've never seen this segment, this is, again, just a refresher here. I have made him do it and watch this film. And let me ask you this. In a nutshell, elevator pitch me. What'd you think?
Elevator, what did I think, or what is the movie about?
No, what'd you think? Then tell us what the movie's about.
Oh, what I think.
In one sentence, tell us what you thought, and then tell us what the movie's about. Just one sentence.
I wished I would have seen it sooner. And what it's about is wow, that's
it's a loaded question.
It's almost a spoof comedy, but not. There's spoof elements to it, but it's all revolving around like it's like a parody on gang movies, except it's they instead of drugs, it's gold.
Jesus Christ.
There's a little bit of course, there's Shaft elements in it.
It is a film that it's the first human exploitation film. It's not just blaxploitation. It's human exploitation. They do it all, but again, it's an actual film. So you can't put it in a nutshell of saying, I'm not saying you're doing it, but most people say, oh, that's blaxploitation, that's Hollywood shuffle, that's this, that's that. No, this is an actual film.
Yeah.
And it's done the right way. And
it's kind of along the lines of like Naked Gun. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like Marlon Wayans and them took the mantle with Scary Movie and cranked it up a whole bunch of notches and went full on into spoof and parody.
Right, because in addition to watching their brothers do this all those time, you found out for the first time they're actually in the film in a cameo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Young,
yes. So with that being said, of course, again, as we mentioned, we are covering the great film, the cult classic, I Am Going to Get You Sucka. Not a great black film, a great film. You want to talk about some of the star-studded cast? First off, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to a guy who does not get a lot of credit, and that's Keenen Ivory Wayans. If I'm not mistaken, if he's not the oldest brother, he is, one of the oldest brothers. And to look at your family and know that not only you got to make, he didn't just say, I'm going to make it. He also, at one point, we talked about earlier, first off, before I get to Damon, he looked at his family. First off, it's just Damon first, and then it's this person, and then it's Cheryl, then there's the other brothers, and this, that, and the other. And it's kind of like, dang, yeah, he could have said it's all about me. Y'all go do y'all do. I'm in this industry. I'm in this field. But to a certain extent, he looked out for them, and they made real films.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Spike Lee might have been making films too, and of course, shout out Spike Lee. But the Wayans brothers the Wayans family is not to be honest with you, one of the most successful families in film history. To be honest with you, I mean, like true families. I'm not talking because most people don't even acknowledge their kids in Hollywood. But think about it. To my brothers, sisters, cousins,
to the point that I mistakenly thought, until you corrected me, that Keenen was the older brother that always played the gay characters in scary movies.
Oh no, that was Sean.
I know.
But
I mean,
in or out?
Fucking A.
In or
Sean,
out?
Marlon, Keenen, Damon. I mean, give me a fucking break.
Oh, go ahead, please.
What? That's
It's
all
almost
I know.
six. It's almost six. Go ahead, please.
No, I'm not saying
Ronnie, Bobby,
No.
Ricky, and Mike.
No, this crosses the racial divide. White people are doing this shit too. Karen and 19 plus counting on TLC and all this shit. Like, don't expect me to remember all of your kids' names. I can't. I'm not. I'm talking to you, fucking. What's his name?
Who?
I can't remember it. I can't remember the dad's
But
name.
remember the sister guy in there too.
Nick Cannon.
Huh?
Just stop.
Okay, all right.
There's already enough.
Remember the sister got in there too, and I love that they didn't shy away from. Remember in the film, she was like the lady was there was a singer on the stage, and she's going overboard. I'm talking about like Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn type overboard. And somebody, and one guy's like, "Man, who is that?" And the waitress is like, "Oh, that's just the director's sister."
Who is that?
That's the director's sister.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that's why I call it a human exploitation film, because it goes against all genres and things of that nature.
Well, I know you say that it's not a black film, and I agree. It's not a black film in the sense that like what people would think of when they think of a black film,
Yes.
like those stereotypes. But there were many times, like I don't consider myself ignorant to black culture.
Correct.
But there were multiple times where I had to request elaboration, like for instance the Coke, the
Pepsi,
the soda that they got, but there
the
wasn't-
bean soda.
Yeah,
the bean soda. Yeah.
It's an acquired taste.
Completely way the fuck over my head. But what I do, so it is in many senses it is a black film. But what I love about black films, opposed to like white films or just films, I guess. Fucking A.
Oh, you digging a great. Go ahead, brother. You've been digging
You
all
know what
day.
I'm saying though, right?
No, I don't.
Do I?
No, I know what you're saying.
Is
My
this-
bad. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
In black films, what I
It's
love
just like-
about them.
Let me give you a little not savior. Let me give you a little. Let me hear me out. Just like there's different genres. We on this show we're going to embrace that there are differences, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If a white director did this one and a black director did this, as long as they're good, the common term is director.
Yeah,
But they're showing their cultural influences from their side. So yeah,
I think that's what I mean when I say this is a black film, is
Yeah.
that it is like culturally specific to a degree that could only happen. It's like the definition of for us by
when you
us.
saw those Hood Olympics, I thought you was about to lose it.
Well, that I dig. I've seen enough on the news to grasp that concept of what they were doing there. But what I really like about black films, more so than when white people portray white people in films, or when white people tell the white story in films, black people can get away with like, especially in movies like this, making fun of their own stereotypes that people identify them as. Like, for instance, like first like 5 minutes into the movie, the fucking joke is like, you know, I always say, you're always so late, you're gonna be late to your own funeral. Well, in this case, if you notice, they were all at somebody else's funeral because the one that they intended to be at happened earlier that
No,
day.
ma'am. Lester Williams' funeral is at 9:00.
Ain't this Lester Wilson's funeral?
Oh, ma'am. Lester Wilson was at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so they all were all late to the fucking funeral. That was like the movie. Their black films are so good at, and just because they have the freedom to make fun of
Well, it's
themselves.
a sense of everybody that's already made fun of us. Let's show how you do it tastefully.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like, white people have the freedom to make fun of ourselves,
Yeah,
but you
it's
don't
called-
see us doing it that way.
Yeah, I do. It's called Caddyshack, but it happens every so often.
Yeah, but
The Country Club. You guys don't like. I mean,
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
okay.
So it's done, but it's not done. It's not. It's rare.
It's
on that
like
side.
thematic throughout across the board in black films. Though, is like.
But that's my whole point. If I were to ask you what's the difference between this and Caddyshack, there are people who would scoff their face at that. About how dare you?
Yeah, no,
And if there is,
I could say there's like very little difference between a movie like I'm Gonna Get You Sucka and Airplane. Like
Right,
they're in the exact same vein.
right.
The
I
only
agree.
difference is the pigmentation.
And they're both funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Like seriously, the jokes keep coming, and like, even with David Allen. Remember you saw David Allen Greer? Like, oh, I didn't grow up in the hood. I didn't listen to jive. I was doing Springsteen.
You know what I mean, brother?
Well, actually, I don't. You know, I didn't grow up around blacks.
David Allen Greer has always been that guy that in every movie, I feel like he's got to be essentially the Urkel of the group in whatever clique he's in on whatever.
Well, that used to be
set.
Tommy Davidson, and just like Key and Peele. And one
Yeah,
day
yeah.
David Allen Greer showed up. He was like, "Hey man, how long it took you to infiltrate? Hey, they gonna do what they gonna do."
And then I didn't realize, I like seeing David Allen Greer in such an early role way back, but like before all the other roles that
Right.
I've seen him in, and I already had that perception of him, and to see in like one of the like going way back before all that, him to actually come out and say like, "Oh, I'm not from the hood.
Why you think
I don't know black people."
Why you think it freaked me the fuck out when I saw him in Tales from the Hood and he hit that woman and he was like not joking? He was, I was like, "Oh, this is scary.
I could
Is this
see
really
that,
David
yeah.
Allen Greer?"
Yeah,
You know
that
what I
would
mean? And he
be
got,
that would
well,
be.
I'm sorry, I just had to bring it up, but you remember what I'm talking about? I've never seen any other serious role other than that.
Yeah,
and it was
that's-
overly
that's
serious.
jarring.
Hey, bitch, what you say? Fah!
Yeah.
Like open hand slap.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Sean Connery, roll that beautiful B footage.
Not the worst thing to slap a woman now and then. As I remember, you said you don't do it with a clenched fist. It's better to do it with an open hand. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I didn't love that.
I haven't changed my opinion.
You haven't?
No.
And then of course the like it just like Airplane and those kind of spoof movies, the Take the Stairs. That's something ridiculous that you would see in like a Leslie Nielsen film. And
Naked Gun or something like that. Yeah.
But even better is that they it was like the longest running joke, and each time you saw it, it was funny just because it would just cut to them falling down the stairs. And that was funny in its own right, but then to get the payoff at the end where
Didn't you know about the elevator?
after he finally jumps out the
The
window.
slow burn.
Yeah,
All the way at the end,
good.
keeping it consistent. And I would say this, if you really look at it, like I say, it's a star-studded cast. I don't think we're giving enough to the cast. So we said we're going to talk about it later. Damon Wayans.
Wait, tell my real name for. What? Are you stupid?
A young Damon. Remember now, this is I think this is fresh off him either being fired or getting ready to be fired off Saturday Night Live. And it goes back to what you were just talking about. The Saturday Night Live has been funny to me. It's a staple in comedy history. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to overhype it, but it is what it is. It's very, very funny. But they have a history of certain things being too risque. And when Damon Wayans was on there, he got fired for number one, they weren't taking his idea for his sketches, but more importantly, one night they had him play a cop. And he had tried to introduce certain characters before that he didn't like, and all of a sudden, the night of, it is Saturday Night Live, he decided to do the character in a gay sketch. Like he decided to be a gay cop. He got a bunch of laughs. So many people complained, and he got fired on that night. But if you look at what him and his brother did in The Living Color with David Allen Greer, which is why I brought this up, the men's review or the review, it's 2 snaps and a twist. Like that is one of the most hottest segments ever from In Living Color. And he got to be himself. And so when we talk about Damon Wayans, when we talk about Sean and Marlon, we talk about their sister being in there. And not only those guys, just Isaac Hayes and Jim Brown. And we're missing, Kadeem Hardison.
And then a dude shot me.
Uncle Mr. Big. And then the dude shot me. Come on, man.
He shot me. Like that's so yeah, he
Where
was
you get
good.
some stupid lie like that from? Hey, you was yelling. I was whistling.
My ankle.
He's like, you was whistling, Willie. Come get this crazy bitch up off me.
Damon Wayans is. I've always loved Damon Wayans. He is just a natural.
Major Pain.
I love like him and
My
Adam
Wife and
Sandler
Kids.
in Bulletproof. Like,
My wife and kids. Yeah, just he's always been there, man. Now shout out. Don't get me wrong. Keenan does have a gym.
The Last Boy Scout.
No, I knew you were gonna do it.
That is Damon Wayans. That is Damon fucking Wayans. That is Damon Wayans.
Keep speaking out loud and read your
That
phone.
is
Read your
Damon
phone.
Wayans,
Go
the
to any
last-
website you want to go
The
to.
Last Boy Scout.
Go to any guys. This is.
The last.
I knew we would get
Who do you
monetized
think
one
it
day.
is?
I knew we'd get monetized one day.
Who do you think it is?
I know we get monetized one day.
Because I'm looking at Damon motherfucking Wayans, Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans.
You
Come
know what? No, you're not wrong. I was
I
getting
know I'm not
you're
wrong.
not wrong. No, I was getting ready to say low down dirty shame, and I thought you were saying
Oh,
what I
yeah,
was saying.
no,
No,
that
that's
was Keenen.
Keenan. Okay,
Yeah,
phew. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so you are right. You are correct in that. But I will say this: is that that's what I was going to say. That was Keenan's gym, low down dirty shame.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, back to my point. Can you name me another not more successful, but a family as successful as them in Hollywood? When you talk about all of those.
The first thing that comes to my mind is maybe the Will Smith.
The Steelers, maybe.
Not even really, because no, I mean not to the degree that the Wayans are like.
Jerry, man, Jerry goes back decades, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not talking about Seinfeld, I'm talking about Stiller.
The time span, sure, but the
iconicness of it.
How far the tree branches spring off. The Wayans got it by numbers. I can't think of anybody that has more family members in the industry.
I'll say,
successfully.
No, I know, because I'll say something like this. I'll say, hey, listen, In Living Color is an iconic show. And then some people say Seinfeld's an iconic show. You know I love them both. But then, okay, all right. But let me put this out there. What's Seinfeld's best movie ever? Can't name it. Doesn't exist. And I'm not saying he doesn't want to. And before all these haters out there again, I say, why are you knocking on Seinfeld? Would you please take up for me, please?
Oh, yeah, no. Seinfeld is always playing in here. It is easily his favorite show.
One of The Office.
The Office.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
No, I think. What the fuck are you saying?
No, we're just going down the cast. We're talking about the cast. Everybody that
The
was
Wayans brothers and their sons.
Remember, you saw our guy from The Elf and
No, but I was still on the Wayans. Okay. So the fact that they're not just like I thought about like Will Smith and his family, but even then, Will Smith is the only real powerhouse, and then no,
bro, they're finna come for you, bro.
Fuck
Jada,
her.
are you fucking kidding me?
She's all
bro. I can't. No, they're gonna come for me too. About Jada, I'll slap you. They're about to make me slap you like fucking Chris Rock. What are you doing? The only powerhouse. Willow's hot. Jaden and
they're all hot.
Are you kidding me?
They're all hot.
Yeah, they're all hot.
But
Hansel's so hot right now.
But he's the source.
No.
All right.
No. Jada was hot before. Man, come on, bro.
I'm talking about the ability to do more than one thing.
Yeah, Dave.
Okay. All right. Fine. Whatever. But
okay,
not to the degree that the Wayans are, because there's so many Wayans where they're not just actors. They have created and spearheaded shows.
Yeah.
When against all odds, by the way, and their directors.
I whip my hair back and forth. That's Willow.
Great.
You know, Jaden has a successful water company and a recyclable clothes company, and he's been in film.
That's
and
really
he's a model.
Cool. I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking the Smiths.
You brought them up. I'm only using what you've given me.
I'm not knocking them. I'm saying the Wayans are better.
Okay. To your point, how many other families can you even, like you say? I get you. I get what you're saying.
And what they're the Smiths are 4 deep.
Oh no, I'm saying other than the Smiths, like how many other families can we name? I haven't come up with one. So I mean,
yeah, the Smiths, Stillers, but the Wayans got it because they've got it by numbers and they've got it just by the
both numbers. Yeah, the numbers. Yeah,
and they're not just jumping in roles in other people's movies.
Correct.
A lot of times they're actually creating the
each
stuff.
Generation you can say what you can never say it was just because of the family, because again with Keenen Ivory Wayans you had the show. Yeah. And not to mention that show put somebody, a little guy named, you know a guy by the name of James Carey?
Yeah, which I said Keenen Ivory Wayans could have easily done. Watching him in some of the parts of
you
this
did
where
say
he's
that.
Overly animated.
Fuck yeah, you did say that. You was like
in another universe, he could have been Ace
No,
Ventura.
he was Ace Ventura, but and then when you said that, I had never thought about that. That was a very adept, very good. I agree with you 100% on that.
Jim Brown and Isaac Hayes, those two together, I would say if I would give them the scene stiller as a duo.
Like a group, yeah.
Yeah, but
Hammer, Slammer.
And must be crazy.
Honorable mention, of course, to Damon Wayans because he's so naturally good.
No shit.
But the guy that got me the most, more than anybody, was Slade. Easily. Because he has the right from that first scene with him, he goes,
"Oh, Bill.
Big old round brown.
We should call her hot chocolate. She had the softest eyes. She had these big old round, brown, firm.
And he just cuts himself off. And then he cuts himself off again and fuck the people. The people?
The people said I was too violent. A bad image for the kids, man. So fuck the people. The people.
Hey, man, you ain't about to tell me no shit like I'm your daddy. Because I don't want to hear no bullshit.
And then when he goes to the door, I was like, I needed you. And he's like,
I've been pretty horny myself lately.
He's so. But I have a note here that say I feel like he could have been fuck. Shaft is great, but Slade needs Slade. I just want that movie where he's like, tell him John Slade is back. It's like I want to see that whole movie. John. Jack Spade, that story is great, but this whole John Slade thing, that needs he's a superhero.
He is. He fucking is, man.
And he got his own theme music.
They both did. So did G14.
I think my favorite scene is it ironically doesn't have Slade in it, but it's just that when he goes into the Black Panther office, specifically because that guy is so amped up, but in that
yes, well,
yes. hey, what?
Well,
the brothers went in with guns, came out with jobs.
Yeah, his performance was
classic.
Top tier, and he it's so funny watching a social justice activist.
But here's the more fucked up part about it. You're right, social justice activists,
but
with a white wife, but they're not Miss Kids.
And he's been politicized.
Correct, but he has the kids telling the truth about Abraham Lincoln. Here's what's fucking you up. Not supposed to be, okay, that's funny. With the Brady Bunch playing in the background.
Yeah.
He's still letting them watch what they want.
Yeah.
Watch them.
Go watch your TV.
Go watch your TV. And am I wrong? Is that not the girl from Jurassic Park?
That I don't know.
That
she did look familiar.
Very fucking familiar.
Freeze, brother!
You like Kung Fu Joe.
That guy was he was like a scene stealer in his own right. He needs his own movie.
What about the cameo of the year? Sir Christopher Rock.
How much for an order of ribs?
Yeah, that
came out of nowhere.
It didn't come out of nowhere because I've seen that clip and I've heard that joke so many times. That's anytime Chris Rock comes up, it's like, how much is that chicken wing?
You want me to fuck you up real quick? And this is one of our shows, one of the greatest ever. You want to do it? Go ahead.
No, I don't want to fuck you up. So I've heard that joke where he does that bit for at least a decade. Until today, I never heard, it was funny on its own, just somebody bargaining for, but when he pulled out that big fucking wad of cash, I'm like, this motherfucker. I never knew that was the end of that whole, that was all a setup for, oh, by the way, I'm just stingy.
After he counted the change.
Yeah.
But I'm the king of connections. One would say that because this film came out before another film, that was him when he was doing his thing. He was out there selling drugs. And then if you remember later on, a young man by the name of Nino Brown said, hey, Pookie, you clean yourself up, I'll get you a job. Maybe with him doing what he was doing back around all the time, I'm gonna get you sucker, let him down the path where he was spending that money doing all that stuff, selling drugs, eventually got on drugs, and now he's Pookie in New Jack City. King of Connections still exists.
I haven't seen New Jack City yet. I know, and I'm a Wesley Snipes fan.
Why are we doing the show? Have you been?
I mean, we got a whole season of He Made Me Do It. I'm just giving them to you. The one more funny moment from Slade.
Was it fun, Dave?
When he strapped that dynamite to himself.
I was wondering why you were looking at me when I was doing that. I thought you were gonna jump up in your fucking chair like Tom Cruise on Open when I just did that connection. I've been saving that. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I sorry, I can't appreciate it.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. When Slade put the dynamite on him and mistimed it, and you just see him. And then what's his name? Did you fart?
What about the argument between, man, I always go through the window. And then he goes to the window, man, get off me. I'm all right.
Yeah. Well, that was
Let's talk. Can you talk about the score to the film?
I mean, it was
soundtrack score.
The score and the Foley were both, you could tell that they were having a lot of fun. Like, they had to be really high and it had to sound so good in the headphones because they went way over the top in the best way with not just the Foley and the sound effects to like the swishing of the fish in the boots. God, this is itchy. What was I saying?
Racist shit. He can't save you, brother. He can't save you. We're off the rails.
What I want to talk about is how black people have been.
Can't even get it out.
I like the stunt double part.
Oh no, that was dope. That was dope.
How'd you do that?
Because I had just recently seen I was watching one of the we don't talk about Cosby or whatever. We need to talk about Cosby. I'm mixing it up with Bruno. We don't talk about Cosby. That that Showtime documentary.
Mm-hmm.
They brought up on there, it was really good. It was well rounded. They went into like not just all the shitty things that he allegedly did, but they also like they explained why he was so like why it's so hard to turn your back on him, because he was so instrumental in so many things that happened in Hollywood for the Black community. But one of those things were him and Sidney Poitier. They did they did like a series of action films, and up until that point, they would only hire white stunt doubles, and they would like paint them black. Like literally, they said they would just use black paint on them for the moments. And Bill Cosby said that he wasn't gonna like work on the set unless they had stunt doubles come in that actually looked like him. And that's where that changed. They gave him credit for that. So when they showed the obvious white guy take the mom's place in the movie in that scene, it was hilarious, but it was also like, I feel like it was a nod to that. Like,
it very much was. So in fairness, great rebound. That's how you beat Sidney Poitier. Because there you go. And the Selma shirt. And the Selma shirt. The Untold Story. There you go. So, I mean, it's all seriousness. You're exactly right. But if that's why when you asked me earlier, was this Keenen Ivory's first movie? Yes, directed by him by himself. Yes, but again, the film is not going to be rooted in, but you can see some of the feel between one of the other great guys out there, Robert Townsend. It was a film called Hollywood Shuffle prior to this, and that was the inspiration for Earl the Curl. If you ever go back, that's the original.
That's Eddie Murphy and
no.
Fuck no, I'm thinking of Harlem Nights.
Bro, I just brought you back.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to bring you black. But with that being said, seriously, so like I said,
Damon Wayans was in Bulletproof though.
He was in Bulletproof. There you go. And again, like I say,
and I will say that this was so much better than Pixels.
It was.
Yeah,
we're going to agree on that. And I like Pixels. The Fire Blaster. But with that being said, one of the things I really want to talk about before we wrap this up is, again, I started this by talking about Keenen Ivory Wayans. And when people talk about great directors, he's never mentioned. And here's the thing. When I hear about all these other great directors, I feel like they do make great films, but what I don't see is them having to carry the weight of all these people looking up to me. If I don't make it, nobody else will. Versus being, I'm in the line of great directors, or my dad was this. It's like, no, Dad, I'm going to be an actor, but I'm going to sacrifice my career. And while I'm on set, I can't just be a great actor. What do all I guess say? I got to learn what this does, and this, that, this, that. And in Living Color, it's up there, one of the greatest shows in American history. Not Black history, American history. So my point is, Keenen Ivory Wayans has been a genius for so long, but he's not mentioned up there with the geniuses.
Yeah, you never really like. I've never heard about Keenen Ivory Wayans' accomplishments through like PR that was directly from Keenen Ivory Wayans' team. It's always been third-hand documentaries or things that are talking about advancements in Black cinema. His name always comes up, and I'm always so surprised, like, holy shit, because he doesn't carry himself like this. Like Tyler Perry, you hear his name, you look at him, you're like, oh man, that motherfucker runs a studio. He calls the shots. He just acts like it. You could see it in the way he carries himself. But Keenen Ivory Wayans, I never got that. I always felt like if I didn't see his name at the beginning of this movie directed by, I would just think he was an actor in it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought when I first saw it for years. And then you go back like, oh, did that say Keenen?
Yeah,
and the only reason I knew his name then because like, oh shit, this is the guy from In Living Color.
He is essentially Lorne Michaels.
He is.
As much as Lorne Michaels created SNL, he created something that was a rival to SNL, again, against all odds, without any of the advantages that Lorne Michaels had. And
Jim Carrey could hold his own against anybody that was ever on Saturday Night Live.
He gave Jim Carrey his platform. That's fucking crazy. And Keenen Ivory Wayans gave Jim Carrey when Lorne Michaels turned him down.
Did. He also turned down a few times. I got from Pixels.
Yeah, that's wild.
Wild.
Keenen Ivory Wayans
because he knew what to do with him.
Doesn't get enough. Like he's not respected enough. It doesn't seem like
his ultimate callbacks is in Cable Guy because Fire Marshal Bill is one of the firemen in the end of that.
It's just like he doesn't get respected enough within the film community itself.
Because he took on Fox. He did those
what he's
things.
Contributed.
And then again, Major Pain and all the things he's credited with. And like I said, here's the crazy part about it. When he gave credit to his brothers for Sean and Marlon, they wrote White Chicks along with another writing partner. And they came and brought that to him. Yeah, he did a treatment on it, but that's the ultimate reward to see all the hard work you put in and say, not my friends, not my not just because my family's giving me something that's good. Like, no, this is really good. And it was. You see what I'm saying? And so to see that,
I couldn't get through White Chicks.
Huh?
I couldn't get
How
through
not?
White Chicks. Just because it weirded me out. The makeup
It's too good?
was too good. It fell somewhere in like the uncanny valley. I'm like, they look human, but it's just fucking.
Were you turned on a little bit?
Absolutely. Well, I think I was so turned off in reverse to the point that I was like, I had a fear boner. I don't know.
I've never heard that in my life.
It's very unsettling.
Yeah, you gotta put a definition up there somewhere. But
no, White Chicks aside, like any collaboration that any of the Wayans do together, like the Scary Movies went to shit when they got kicked off of their own thing. Like they just have this style of where it feels like it's us and like Tarantino, like Sunny Fit Crew, just fucking around in 2007. And it's like, yes, we have this script and we're prepared, but we're also kind of high and fucked up and having a good time. And this is really funny to us right now. Let's just do this. Like, there's so much of that energy and all the stuff that they do where it seems like they're just trying to make each other laugh.
Let me ask you this. Is there any way to even choose a favorite line from this film?
Yes. It's easily fuck the people. The people. And he doesn't even finish the line. The fact that he just says "fuck the people," Slade, and he's so frustrated by the people in general that he begins to say the people and why fuck the people. He just can't even put it into words.
He's also your scene stealer.
Yeah, I want that on a T-shirt. Fuck the people. The people. Yeah, I can't even get into it.
All right. So 1 through 5. What do you give it?
That's why I said I wish I would have seen it sooner, because I think if I would have seen this in the 90s, it would have been way more hilarious to me, because comedy just so many things are relevant to a particular time, especially in like the 80s. And this was a very, very like late 80s, early 90s comedy.
Easily.
You could feel it. And it wasn't like the jokes got like expired or anything like that. It's just kind of the pacing of the jokes and the humor and the way thing plays out. Like in the 80s and early 90s, that was completely normal. That was what was to be expected. But now it's like, oh man, why is it? It just feels like it's kind of hanging sometimes. Like it's not as punchy. It's not like, hey, here's the punchline, like what we're used to now. It's everything is kind of subtle and under the cover, and you really have to be paying attention, which isn't a bad thing. It's just our brains are just kind of trained differently now to respond. But with that said, I would say, I mean, it was all the jokes landed, and it was something I appreciate with the comedy is when they take advantage of every moment of screen time. They're always trying to fit humor in, even down to like funny props that are in the background, or beats with facial expressions, reactions, and things like that, all the way to like the elaborate stare jokes that run through the whole movie. To take the time, like we're doing a comedy, we're going to continually make you laugh through the whole thing. I appreciate that. They did not phone in any moment of it from the beginning to the end, and all the acting was on point. Keenen Ivory Wayans is obviously, even being his second film, he's already like, there was nothing technical about this movie. It was like, oh, this is an amateur. That was amateur hour. There were a few like ADR things that were a little weird every now and then, but you can't really. And it just kind of played into the style of movie that this was, like the over the top sound effects and stuff like that. Sometimes it worked. So if I would have seen it in the 90s, I probably would have gave it a 4.5. Seeing it now, compared to like current day comedies, it'd be like a 3.75, almost a 4. Very near 4.
Okay, fair.
I would watch it again. It would definitely go on my list to watch again in my queue.
Okay, fair.
What do you give it?
5.
5?
Yes.
Why?
Because I am looking at it from a perspective of what you said. I love the fact that certain films are always going to be set in those genres.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost asking a child to watch something like how many of you appreciate films that were made before me and you came out. We look at them like, oh man, that's dope. And because it was dope for that time. And then that's where we get the phrase, does it hold up over time? And in 2022, we were able to watch a film from it came out late 80s or early 90s. Pretty sure it's late 80s. Yeah, it's definitely late 80s. We were able to watch a film and to see, again, we've always talked about this. How is it that even back then that you can get things so technically right, and now you see stuff that's just like the rape of the film industry has become something that's a problem? But to stay on course here with what we're talking about, that film, the reason why I give it a 5 then, because it still holds with that film for me and my culture, and I love film. It was such a big part of my childhood because even true art, even in paintings, you always find something the more you watch it or how you watch it and from what angle, where the light is at, what mood you're in. Even today, when I told you, I've watched this film over 100 times, but even today when we were watching, I'm like, oh shit, I've never noticed that he wrote the word L is the wrong way. So maybe he was dyslexic. Mm-hmm. So maybe, Soldier Boy. I was trained for combat. Why you acting like this? I ain't never been in it.
That was another funny bit. This is surfing.
Yeah, surfing.
For typing, like never thought you'd see all the badges on a soldier's uniform that it would be for, you think like big heroic things.
Yes.
That was good.
Yes, but I want to add that, again, from my perspective, the reason why I'm giving it a 5 is because I am biased in this, because I saw, again, that was one of the first films I saw was like, damn, it's pretty much an all-black cast, but I get the joke of
except for David Allen Greer.
Well, yeah, and I got him saying I'm not above playing a black
I'm sorry.
person.
No, I don't. That is a joke that I
no, you get to say that on
It's our show. But I don't even want to make that joke. I'm just making that joke because I know that it is a joke that's out there. It's not something that I actually.
It's the
believe.
Wayne Brady joke.
This goes back to when Chad said that
Brady
Reggie wasn't being. Yeah, I know, and I don't subscribe to that either. Like,
you subscribe to something.
You can't. It's just the idea of like, oh, you act white.
I'm not a Nazi.
What the fuck does that mean? You act white.
It's like somebody tell me I speak proper.
Exactly. That's why.
No, that's not exactly. But I want to give you a bone.
No, that's what there's. that's what people mean by it. Though. Oh, yeah. He talks like he's from the suburbs. He talks like he grew up in adversity.
How do we get here, man?
Because it's a sore spot. Because I always think about Reggie getting offended when we did Everything Means Nothing. He got pissed off at Chad for
Chad's on 211s. So with that being,
but watch Cracker Jack on Prime.
Please don't. But no, seriously, watch it. But seriously, as looking at this, you have to understand, these are my heroes, and you have to understand why, because I had never seen anything like this, and I saw this one film spanned all these people, as Lorne Michaels has done with Saturday Night Live in his show. Mm-hmm. I saw a film I'm surprised they must have not met Tommy Davidson yet, but when you see that he's responsible for this, he's responsible for In Living Color. He put J-Lo on. Jennifer Lopez, she's a fly girl, B.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
They were dating for a time until Jen wanted to get a little
Jennifer
puffy.
Lopez and Tommy Davidson?
No, Keenen Ivory Wayans, brother.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because he had her on In Living Color. That's
right. She was a fly girl.
Yeah.
And so that's my point. And then again, so when you talk about Damon Wayans, Jim Carrey, Keenen Ivory Wayans, and then you talk about Sean, well, we be remiss if we didn't talk about the Wayans Brothers show. And Pops, they put Pops on. Pops was in this, and he was in that. King of Connections, baby. John Witherspoon, rest in peace, baby.
Looking young.
That's what I'm saying. With none of that Benjamin Button going on. Yeah. That was at 9 a.m. So you know what? That's what you ain't even know subconsciously. No, man. So that's why I'm giving it a 5 day, because again, I don't expect the film to have affected you how it affected me. But when I was in love with film, I didn't know this was one of the first films to say, oh shit, it is a void missing in my life. There are people that look like me that make great films too.
I could have I know I've heard you drop the line before where you're like,
Dude, the fucking dude that came in.
Yeah, because you put it in one of our episodes. I was like, because I was like, Dave, remember that guy? You like, I don't know what I'm like, man, the dude, the fucking dude. And I was like, you were like, why are you asking me to put that here? But now you saw in the G14 connection, who are the guys? Every hero needs his theme music.
Yeah.
So this has been around for years. So that's why this is a 5 to me. 15, 16 years ago, I was referencing this film, and I'm referencing it today.
Well, I already know what song goes in the credits for this one.
Kids, take off those earmuffs. Bum, 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 bum. All right, guys, that is I'm Gonna Get You Sucka. Please tell us what you think. If you've never seen the film or previous episode before this, or segment, if you've never seen Strangers with Candy, hey, go watch them both.
Mm-hmm.
Do it for the culture.
Yeah, do it like watch them both in the
one
same
setting.
Yeah,
do Coke on one and get a 40 on the other.
Which one is for which? You decide.
I'll never tell.
on. I told him.
So much trouble.
Why?
Oh, go back to
yeah. Oh, I don't remember.
Hell, 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 hi, hell, hi, hell, hi, hell, hi, hell.
Seatbelt ready, ride, remix, more like remake. No recipe for the shit we make. We raised the bar and we said it high. Young Luke Skywalker used my mind like Jedi. Better get by on more than my looks.
Hey guys, hey gals, did you like that? I know I did. And here's something YouTube thinks you'll like. They've actually recommended. What do you recommend?
I recommend that if you have not subscribed to our channel, then please click right down there and make sure you correct that wrong this very instant.
Let me ask a question. Where can they find us?
All those places over there, we're everywhere. Everywhere.
We thought we could do a cooler outro. We're just going to walk away now.